Hello and welcome to this flipped instructional session, Unit 11, Lesson 9, Mapping Africa. We're going to go on a safari today through Africa, so stay tuned. We'll go ahead and jump right into our lesson, starting with our lesson introduction. Don't forget, on that first screen that opens up, there's going to be our lesson resources. This is what we're going to start by clicking on in order to get our student guide. That's going to open up and we'll refer to our student guide as we go throughout the lesson. Our objectives today, what is it that we're wanting to learn? Our end goal is to locate on a map the Sahara, Kalahari, and Namib deserts, the Nile, the Congo, and the Niger rivers, and the equatorial rainforest, the Savannah, and the Sahel. So a lot of stuff to map out in Africa today. We also want to define rainforest, Sahel, desert, and Savannah. And then we're going to use maps to gain some information about the physical characteristics of Africa. There's also some keywords and pronunciations for us as well. And so we'll go back to our online lesson to start our lesson. So Africa is a huge continent. How big is it? You can actually fit 3 land masses the size of the continental United States in it and still have plenty of room left over, which is pretty amazing. When you're looking at a map, you don't really realize that, but if you take the United States, here it is, showing an overlay of 3 of the continental United States over Africa, and you can fit 3 of them. You can see some areas aren't covered, but if you use this to cover other portions, you still have room left over. So 3 times the size of the United States, Africa is huge. This geographically diverse continent contains the world's longest river, the largest non-polar desert, and some of the wettest places on Earth. We're going to explore the continent and we're going to get ready to delve into its history, but first we want to explore this continent in detail. So we're going to journey to Africa together today, explore Africa, and chart some of the physical features as we travel around the continent. So, focus on geography. You've been dropped off in the Atlas Mountains along the northwestern coast of Africa, and we're going to explore the continent to prepare for a new job with a large travel organization. So, we're going to map the places, landforms, and climatic zones as we travel. Fortunately, there are some resources to help us create this map. We're going to respond to some questions along the way as well. So you can use any resources available to you, and we're going to access the map on this slide to begin our journey. So you can go ahead and open up that map. So it tells me that my Flash is not working. So I'm going to go up to my browser. I'm going to go to Flash and click Allow, and then I'm going to refresh this page, and that should make my Flash start working. So actually took me to the page before. Go back to the focus on geography, click on Africa, and now I should have an interactive activity map, and this is what we're going to be working on as we map Africa. So it's going to lead you through. We're dropped off in the Atlas Mountains on the northwestern coast of Africa. You have just joined the staff of a large travel organization, and our first assignment is to familiarize ourselves with Africa so that we can answer clients' questions about the continent. So we're going to have to map places and landforms as we go. Also, you can turn to page 636 in your textbook and use that as well as other resources. So remember, it says we're dropped off on the northwestern coast of Africa in the Atlas Mountains. So the first thing that it's going to do is it's going to have us label our starting point, the Atlas Mountains. So refer to that map on 636 in order to do this. As you can see, this is pointing to the these lines here. This is pointing to the Atlas Mountains. So we can start by doing this, okay? So as we label these, it's then going to save this information as we go from screen to screen, And then before you close the lesson, make sure you print this, because then you'll have everything printed along with these questions that you have answered. And that will allow you to save this information for your lessons moving forward. Okay? So move through the map and answer all of these questions. You're going to be labeling. You're going to answer questions. Write one sentence explaining what the Sahara is. So you're going to have to find that, explain what it is, and continue going through, labeling and answering all of the questions. And when you get to the end, click print. And this will you can either print it out on your printer, or you can save it as a PDF. Okay, so when I click print, it then opens up a big print screen. And that is where I can actually print this off as a PDF. If I don't have an actual printer, I can print it. It's going to look like this. So quite nice that we have this assignment saved for us. And as you can see, I labeled the Atlas Mountains. The others I had not labeled yet, and so we're going to make sure that you label those as you go through the lesson. So I'm going to cancel that for now. After you have printed your map, you can then close this. Remember, if you close it before, you will lose your information. So make sure that you've printed that. And then you can continue on with your lesson. And it is now time for your assessment. So bring that map to class with you, and we will go over that in the flip follow-up. So look for that flip follow-up session in your Class Connect schedule. Attend that live session. We'll carry this topic and others further into practice. If you have any additional questions, you can attend the Help Lab portion. Have fun, and I will see you on the flip side.